Yes, we do have to talk about Raw. Because what are you talking about? There's loads to talk about. Let's talk about the fact that Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar did a promo thingy. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, see you at WrestleMania. Yeah, 2 days. Yeah. Yeah. WrestleMania. By the way, after this Raw review, we must rant about WrestleMania being over 2 days. So, because this is only going to take like 5 minutes. So, by the way, we're recording because I can't be bothered to intro. So, here's your Raw review, gang. Randy Orton and Edge has been confirmed as a last man standing match. Are you lads excited? By the way, Carl Wilkinson and Jeremy Miller are here.
This is really official, but I love it. It's really like I do. You know what? I'm just going to get right down to it. I'm so fucking excited for this. I'd be even more excited if, there was an audience. But honestly, I'm still excited for this. The promos each guy has done has been brilliant. They haven't had a real face-to-face confrontation. Other than, I think Edge gave Randy an RKO, I think it was 2 weeks ago, which is fine. But yeah, they've just been like throwing them hands. I'd like to actually see them just with the mic, just fucking face to face, laying into each other. But that's fine because I'll get to see them kick the shit out of each other a week from potentially Saturday because WrestleMania is going to be 2 days.
Did you hear? Apparently, it's too big for 1 day. That's apparently the new thing. WrestleMania is too big for 1 day. You'll have to wait for that.
$1 every time I heard that.
Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, Raw was Raw. What do you guys think of indoor Raw with no fans? Do you think it hurts the product?
I don't. I think it actually was pretty good this time around. I mean, they did the review matches, which, got to fill time for the 3 hours that they have to have Raw for some reason. But, the tag team matches were good. They were setting up a pointless rivalry between Andrade and Angel Garza against the Street Profits, but hey, neither here nor there. But I mean, as long as they're still pumping out the product, Vince McMahon's getting paid, and that's all that matters. But I thought it was pretty good.
Interesting.
I think not having a crowd definitely changes the way the show is produced, especially for WrestleMania this year, because we all know WrestleMania, they fucking throw all the bells and whistles, the full 9 yards. They have the giant stadiums with tens of thousands, sometimes 100,000 people. It's a spectacle. It is, as they say, it's the showcase of the Immortals. This is what WWE's calendar is going for every single year. And now it's just going to be over 2 days at the Performance Center, and I've seen like some reports saying they're going to have like another venue, though who has any idea what the fuck that is, and not that it really matters.
The Boneyard.
Oh, don't even, shut up. Don't even. That's stupid. I'm so triggered by that. I don't even know what it means, but I already hate it.
Oh, I do. That's clearly a buried alive match, but in the current climate, they can't call it a buried alive match because that will trigger the audience, because super duper liberals are going to be like, I'm offended by the term buried alive, even though it's been around literally since the dawn of fucking time. But AJ Styles, once again, killing it on the mic, man. He ran down the Undertaker. I love how he just completely shit all over the Undertaker's gimmick in about a minute flat. He was just like, this guy's on Twitter. That's right, the dead man has a Twitter account. Oh, look at him advertising tigers. Lol. He just shit all over his real life persona. He was like, fuck you, Mark, you're a load of shit. I really enjoyed it, to be honest.
Well, AJ's definitely carrying this by himself. I mean, we've seen Taker beat up Gallows and Anderson, whoop-de-doo, who hasn't beat up Gallows and Anderson at this point. God damn, so wasted, so wasted. Ugh. But I mean, I think it was last week when Taker did that, fucking had the hair in like a ponytail that still went down all the way to like the top of his ass. If I don't get American Badass at WrestleMania against AJ, I'm going to be really upset, because who doesn't want to hear some Limp Bizkit coming out?
Well, also the fact that Biker Taker makes more sense. The idea of this rivalry is that AJ Styles is saying, you, in your current format, suck ass. You are a dead man. You're not a dead man. You're just some guy. You're no longer this cool entity that you used to be. You're not some supernatural twat. You're a guy who sits in a pool with your ridiculously good-looking wife who loves money. Money bags, Michelle. And you advertise tigers and shit. So surely it would make sense for him to come down on a motorcycle and say, that's fine. You want real badass? Here's real badass. And then the world will let out a collective pop the size of Donald Trump's hands, because as we all know, Donald Trump has very big hands. Anybody who says I don't, it's completely fake news. Thank you. So ultimately, unless he comes out as Biker Taker, I don't give a shit. All I care about at this point is AJ Styles being a complete and utter troll, and I really enjoy that. That for me is the absolute pinnacle of this rivalry. Other than that, Raw, not really much going on. 2 very good tag matches, to be fair, and the opening promo, Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. Paul Heyman without a crowd, he's still phenomenal, but I don't feel like his promos work.
Yeah, it's because there's a lot of give and take with Paul Heyman, right? Like they always
crowd interaction.
Yeah. It's sports entertainment, right? And crowd interaction is an integral part of that, because they're always saying along with him, my name is Paul Heyman and I am blah, 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 because he says the same thing every time he gets a microphone in his hands. But because it's so tried, tested, and true, the crowd can still catch on and say it because it's not a difficult phrase. So it's definitely a little weird not hearing the crowd say it back, but at the same time, it's weird seeing Brock Lesnar, A, at the Performance Center, B, when there's nobody there. Brock showed up for work. I'm both surprised and excited.
Jeremy Miller, quick question for you. Which match do you think you're most excited for Mania? Because this Raw also announced we're going to get Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. Woohoo! And the Street Profits defending their tag team championships against Angel Garza and Andrade, which might insinuate that there'll be no US title match at WrestleMania unless he's going to pull double duty, which I'm all for because Andrade is incredible. And also I want to see more of Zelina Vega. But there's plenty of matches on offer right now. The women also hyped up their matches quickly. Charlotte had a backstage promo. Becky Lynch attacked Shayna Baszler with a chair. What's standing out most if you've got to pick one match?
Number one match in my book to watch is Orton Edge, because I can see that being like Halftime Heat 2000 or 2001, empty arena, and they just throw each other across everything and just beat the living holy hell out of each other. And honestly, I could care less who wins the match. It's just that Edge is back. He's at WrestleMania. And this is going to be his proper way of being able to say, okay, now I can actually go away and retire and feel good that I didn't have to do it on, medical terms. I did it on my terms.
That's a good shout, to be fair. And also, there's no question that we waited basically 3 hours to hear Randy Orton cut a great promo. That's essentially what this Raw was about. But I really cannot underestimate how good Ricochet and Cedric Alexander versus Andrade and Garza was. That's a match of the year candidate if it's in front of an audience. But because it's not, people are going to kind of throw it to one side. These 4 men literally went out there and went full PWG, Destiny, wrestling, like Rev Pro, whatever your favorite indie promotion is, at the pinnacle of your country. These guys went out there and just fucking went apeshit and just literally emptied the tank. And I gotta say, I thought it was killer. Wasn't as hot on Street Profits versus insert random 2 NXT developmental guys. One of them, I think, Shane Thorne. And also, I don't really care about Aleister Black jobbing out B-Tech Leo Rush in about 20 seconds, but that is what it is. But that tag match, honestly, for people listening, you need to go back and watch that match. It's utterly phenomenal. That match is it's genuinely incredible. And if that had been the main event of Raw or they put that on a pay-per-view in front of a rabid Chicago audience or something like that, people would be clamoring for it, 4 or 5 stars. But because it was on an empty arena show, nobody would care. Also, by the way, one thing I did enjoy about Raw, no Jerry Lawler, always so much better when it's just Tom Phillips and Byron Saxton.
Which is a weird thing to say because I'm not a huge Byron fan. The best thing he's done since he came back on commentary was, I think it was last week when it was 316 day, and just fucking his interactions with Austin were fucking hilarious. But
hell yeah,
just Austin, tough crowd, tough crowd. Byron, that's only an 8. An 8, Byron.
Oh, tough crowd. He said tough crowd about 50 times, but it worked actually. It was very.
But that's
funny.
because he's probably drunk off some Steve Weiser IPA or whatever it is that he makes. It's an IPA, which makes it gross. IPAs are gross.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Controversial opinion. IPA doesn't taste very nice. It's really rancid. Like, I'm not a beer fan anyway. I've got to be honest. I'm a bit of a woofter when it comes to me. You know, I like me some spirits and some Coke or whatever. But, like, I can drink beer. I don't mind beer. I actually quite like Corona, the irony of it. But ultimately, for me, the IPA tastes rancid, man. It's I just don't like it. It's just not for me. It doesn't work. What about you, Jeremy Miller? What do you like to drink?
I'm more of a Jack Daniels kind of guy. Beer wise, I don't really drink beer. I drink Rolling Rock. But for IPAs, I did have one that was called like 24th Amendment. Like it was weird. It was like some kind of patriotic IPA, and it tasted horrible.
Patriotic IPA. There's nothing quite like the 24th Amendment IPA. It's great. It's fantastic. You drink that, you have hair on your chest, you have a squirrel on your head, and most importantly, you have huge hands like me. It's great.
Ugh, gross.
Ew, gross. Yeah, that pretty much sums up Raw, doesn't it? That we're talking about our favourite drinks. So I think we'll leave it there. Thanks for joining us, lads. If you liked it, for God knows what reason, then feel free to comment underneath or like and subscribe. We've got some really good content coming up, ladies and gentlemen, including a very special Chris Benoit related YouTube video, which will be dropping within a few hours, actually, of this coming out. It'll be available the same day of the Chris Benoit documentary that drops via Viceland, part 1 of The Darkest Side of the Ring, which will be available for free on YouTube. So obviously check that out and check our video out as well, because might add a little bit more punctuation to what you're watching, so hopefully you'll enjoy that. So like, subscribe, share with your friends, and also let us know below what you thought of Raw as overall concept, and let us know what you think of the idea of these empty arena shows, whether they're worth the hassle, and whether you enjoy the reruns as well, because for a lot of people it feels like they're just trying to fill the time, but for some it's actually quite nice to go and revisit it, especially if you're young. So let us know what you think, gang.